are a visionary, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You want to make money from your passion and create the freedom that you've dreamed of. But it's slow. The income is slow, the impact is slow, and the freedom is slow. And here's the kicker. You've actually never been busier. You're working longer than ever, burning through daylight, and your family have forgotten who you are. You're tired and frustrated and you can't even sleep well at night. The business just feels so heavy, and all you ever wanted to do was just make the money you want to make, doing the things that you want to do. And that's where I come in. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'm the host of the Business Acceleration Podcast, where we shift your business from heavy to light, time poor to time abundant, and from income lack to income growth. We're going to achieve it together with my 20 years experience as a psychologist, helping people just like you to break through their barriers. And we're going to throw in a little of the woo as well. So thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. I'm so pleased that you're here. Today we're going to be talking about how you can plan for profit so that you can have a really successful 2020. So thank you so much for joining me. I have been talking about planning on my Facebook page for the last couple of days, and it's been generating a little bit of interest. And lots of people have lots of questions about how to plan. And it's really interesting too, because when I'm working with coaching clients, one of the things that comes up a lot for people is this whole idea of, getting stuck in bright, shining object syndrome. And I think if you're a business owner, you've probably been there before. I know I absolutely have. So, one of the things that can often happen is be talking to business owners and they'll say, I got into business because I wanted to have a better work-life balance and I really wanted to be able to make money and just feel good. I didn't want to work 9 to 5 anymore. I wanted to align what I'm doing with my purpose. And so anyway, what happens is people can sometimes quit their 9 to 5 and they pursue their dream of starting their own business. And I think what happens is a lot of the time we just don't have the background, we don't have the training in all of the different things that we need to do. I know, for example, when it comes to psychology, I can speak from my own experience. I spent 12 years at university. I got 4 degrees. I started a private practice. But it wasn't until fairly recently, in terms of the lifetime of my business. I mean, I've been a private practice owner now for 20 years. But it was really only a few years ago that I became what I call a proper private practice owner, insofar as prior to that I had been operating out of this bulk billing clinic, and I didn't have to do any of the things that I had to learn how to do when I moved out of there. For example, when you're working at the bulk billing clinic, you don't need to really market yourself. You've got an evergreen stream of referrals that are constantly flowing your way. You've got a fully booked diary, you've got other people there managing your admin for you. It's a cakewalk really compared to what it can be like when you step out of that, sort of comfort zone there. When you do step away and you move into your very own place, and maybe there aren't doctors around you or you're not part of a big clinic anymore, you're completely isolated on your own, then you learn very, very quickly how lucky you were in some respects to be in that medical clinic, because now you have to learn how to market yourself. And that's really hard if you don't like marketing, and it's really hard if you've got preconceived notions around what marketing is and what it's going to involve. You also have to learn how to do your own reception, and you have to do your own admin, and you have to chase the money yourself, and you have to have those difficult conversations with clients about payments, and you've got to find staff, and you've got to keep referrals coming in. And what happens is it goes from being this idea that you're going to work less, make more, and have, in air quotes, a better life, to being the opposite. You actually work longer hours. It's harder to switch off. You're constantly wondering how you're going to get clients booking in and all that sort of stuff. And so what can happen is while you might be very good at your job, whatever that might be, when you decide to leave your 9 to 5 and become a business owner, what happens is you go on a very, very steep learning curve. And there are some things that you learn along the way and you pick them up quite quickly and you get some quick wins, which is amazing. But there are also some things that you need to do that just feel hard. They feel really hard. You feel heavy. You feel resistant. You feel avoidant, perhaps. I mean, Facebook ads, anybody? And so you tend to put them off. And I know even for myself when I was on my learning curve, and I believe you always will be learning when you're in business because things are always changing. The goalposts are always moving. Business today isn't what it was even 2 years ago. So what can happen is when it comes to doing those more challenging things, instead of dealing with them head on or finding somebody that can help us work through them, we tend to put them to the bottom of our list and get really busy doing all of these other things instead. And so I think I may have mentioned it before. If it wasn't on the podcast, it would have been on a Facebook Live. Now, I can't take credit for this. I can't remember who I was listening to because I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I'll share it here. But basically, this man was saying that all of the tasks that you do in a day can be categorized into 2 groups, and that's either things that you're passionate about and things that you're proficient with. So there's passion and proficiency. So the idea is that you want to spend most of your day-to-day activities in the high passion, high proficiency zone. So think about in your business what it is that you really love doing and you're really good at it. That's the things that you want to be focusing on. So for me, I love doing a podcast. I love doing a Facebook Live. I love writing a newsletter. I love helping clients face to face. They're my things where I feel I am highly proficient and highly passionate about. The opposite quadrant to that is low passion, low proficiency. So that's when you really don't like that particular task and you're not very good at it, i.e., for a lot of us, that's Facebook ads. It might be other things as well, but you get the idea. And then you have another quadrant of something where you're really, really good at it. So you're highly proficient, but you don't love it. So for me, that's email. I'm really quick with an email, but I don't love it. I'm really quick with looking at the numbers and doing all of that sort of stuff with the financial side of the business, but I don't love it. And then you've got the other quadrant where you're highly passionate about things, but you're just not good at them yet. And I think we could all think of areas where, we love doing that sort of stuff. For me, that's web design. Like I love I use GoDaddy and I use their website builder. And for me, I love it because I can just drag and drop. I can get in there. I'm in my website every single week and I don't even know why. It's just perhaps it's a bit of a distraction. Maybe I'm avoiding doing something else, but I love it because it lets me be really creative. I can keep it fresh all the time. I really, really, really enjoy doing that, but I'm probably not as good as a proper web designer with it. So anyway, the idea is that you want to be able to identify the areas of tasks that you're undertaking on a week-to-week basis that fall within each of those 4 quadrants. So the quadrant number 1 is high passion, high proficiency. Number 2 is high passion, low proficiency. Number 3 is low passion, low proficiency. And the last one is high passion, low proficiency. I think I mixed that one up. Yeah. Anyway, so you get the idea. But then when it comes to planning for 2020, this is the other thing. Some people think that that's really boring, and I used to think that that was really boring as well. But what you can do is a simple way to plan out the tasks that you need to do in order to hit your goals is, first of all, think of what you want for your goals. So most businesses would have, no more than 3. I usually have 2 goals, but you think for yourself what your goals would be. And you know how to do that now. You know the way to do that in total alignment is you want to think about your values and anchor into your why, and you want to be able to visualize where you see the business in 12 months. Like, let's imagine it's 12 months time and it's December 2020 now. What are we celebrating? What have you achieved? Thinking from that angle can sometimes help you plan the goals that you want to work on. So you think about that and you nominate your goals. And then what you're going to do is take one of those goals and you're going to divide it into 4 key steps. Each of those 4 key steps becomes 1 quarter in the business. So a quarter is a 3-month cycle. Most people find it easier to do this, January, February, March, and then April, May, June, like that. But you don't have to, because businesses start when they start. It's just 90 days from when you want to begin it, okay? So if you want to start it today, go for it. That's fine. You just count 90 days from there. You've got your own 90-day cycle. So from that first step that you want to focus on for that first quarter, you're going to then break that step down into 12 smaller steps, okay? In order, preferably. So think about the 12 steps. Now, each one of those 12 steps is going to represent 1 week, okay? 1 week in your business. And then what you want to do is break that down again into what you need to achieve each week. So now what you have is you've got 1 or 2 daily goals that are working toward you achieving the weekly goal. And then you've got the weekly goals, which together are working towards you achieving your quarterly goal. And then when you've got the 4 quarterly goals achieved, you then have achieved your annual goal. See how simple it is? It is so simple. But some tips. So you might find, if you're a visual person, you might find this easiest to do by spreading out and just roughing out a plan on some scrap bits of paper, and you can make it pretty once you've finalised it. The other thing to do is block off in the diary or on your sheet your holidays, and do that before you start writing out your plan, because a lot of business owners struggle with this whole idea of having balance, and it's so important that you do, because otherwise you can run the risk of getting burned out, and you can run the risk of perhaps not loving what you're doing as much, because you're not getting a chance to stop and smell the roses, and you're not getting a chance to refill your cup. So most businesses have about 4 weeks off a year, including public holidays. So you might want to have a look, block out any holidays, and then that will help you work out your weekly goals. Okay. Once you've got your plan sorted out, then go and put it into your diary. Go and throw it into Outlook, throw it into Google Calendar. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You can outsource that, get a VA to do that for you. Somebody who loves doing that sort of thing will really enjoy filling out your diary for you and putting in your list of to-dos. So let them do it for you. And then all you're going to do is from the day that it begins, you'll just go in and you'll know exactly what needs to be done. They're going to be your non-negotiables for 2020, okay? So that's the first thing. And yeah, you can absolutely do this. It's not hard. It's only going to be hard if you don't have a clear goal in mind. And we can talk about the types of goals that you should be setting as a business owner. And there are different goals for different industries, of course, but overall there are some common business goals that you should all be working towards, and that we work towards here, both at All Psyched Up and again at the business acceleration coaching side of the business. So I think once you've got that to-do list in your diary every single day, then you have to tick them off, which means that you're not going to be as distracted. You're not going to be fluffing around as much. You're not going to feel like you're super busy and not getting anywhere. You'll feel like you are getting somewhere. And that's going to be really, really powerful. The other thing too is if you're more a paper and pen person, you want it in your diary, that's cool. I would suggest go and get yourself a really great diary that you are excited to open up, a diary that's going to track your progress, a diary that's going to help you break things down, and maybe you get some coloured pens or some stickers and you just treat it like a scrapbooking event and you get it sorted out one afternoon on a rainy day. It's a fun thing to do. There are some planners that I'm familiar with that I think are worthwhile mentioning for anybody who might be interested in a recommendation, but there's one called the 90-Day Planner, and you can just have a look at that. I think the website is 90x.com. I give these planners to my business coaching clients so that they can set themselves up for success for the coming quarter. There's also another one called the Action Planner. It's by the same people, and that's more along the lines of a spiritual type approach. So with business coaching, my approach that I've developed is a AAA approach. It's around business alignment and aligning the business with your bigger vision, of course, but also calling in some of those more spiritual universal laws and being able to apply them in a really special framework to help you achieve your goals. So the Action Planner by the 90X group is also very, very good for people who are a bit like me and they're a bit more spiritually minded. And then, but it's quite businessy too. Anyway, and you can get it in rose gold, I think. And then I also get that one for my business coaching clients. And then there's another one which I recommend, and it's called the Passion Planner. And they have a website as well. And what I like about theirs is, again, it's built on law of attraction principles, plus it breaks things down into actionable steps for you. It guides you through that whole process. The only thing with paper planners is you must use them, because lots of people use them with good intentions for January and February and then drop off March, April, May, June. So I think it's always better to have something that's connected to your digital diary, because I know that you're going to be looking at that every single day. So there's no way you're going to miss out on the steps that you need to be taking there, okay? So I think hands down a digital diary wins every time, but there are people that love a journal, pencil and paper, so just try it that way as well. So I hope that this all really helped you, but if you have a business question and you want some help with it, you can ask, of course, and I'm more than happy to help you. You can click the link in the show notes and just tap that and it will take you to my diary. And I'm happy to give you 15 minutes and go over any problem that you might be experiencing. We can get that sorted out for you. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. It's the 2nd of December today. You will get this podcast on Wednesday the 4th. So you will still have a good 4 weeks up your sleeve to go away and start thinking about how you're going to set up your plan for next year. Visualize where you want the business to be and develop your goals back from that. But don't overwhelm yourself with goals. Really just keep it so simple. It's much better that you achieve one good goal in the year than partly achieve 10 and not get anything finished, okay? All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you're loving these. If you are, would you please do me a massive favor and share it with your friends? That would mean the absolute world to me, because I love helping people, if you hadn't caught that already. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it. Help me help others by sharing this podcast. And if you feel called to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, remember to let me know so that I can send you a very special thank you gift. Now go and build your dream business, and I will see you next time. Bye.